Well, hello everyone, this is KP the Math G coming to you today on a snowy day. And of course it's not snowing, but the snow is not melting either, so we're stuck in the house, and this gives me a chance to do some YouTube videos. How about that? Some AP Calculus is what I like to do. I've gotten up to now, this will be the 163rd YouTube video, and I'm just proud to be able to do it. I know that a lot of this is, by now, has long started overlapping, and that's okay. You can look at any of them, but the most current ones are probably the ones you're going to look at first anyway. So let's putting all this aside, we're dealing with the 2024 free response question number 4. My next one will be question number, well, I may stay on 4 depending on if I do C part today or not, but we are going to do A part, and then we'll probably do C part next time. Probably, that's probably the way I'll do it, and then we'll probably get into number 6 of this 2024 free response. And then I'll look into 2025 and see what all's there. But good questions, all of them good questions. Let's take a look at it. This is a graph, and you know, for the lack of space, I don't have enough room to write everything down that they have. This is region R. All of this blue line here, this is linear. This part from 0 to 7 is linear. This part is curved, as you can well see. A horizontal tangent is at x equals -2. There's a horizontal tangent there. That may mean something, may not, but they do mention that. This point is important, -6, 0, comma 0.5. And of course, this point right here, I don't know if you can see that, is 6, -1, and it is certainly not drawn to scale. As you can see, the x-axis has all the numbers real close together, and the y-axis has them a little bit further apart, and even then they're not spaced evenly. So oh, what do you expect from a man like me who's 65 years old and doesn't have a lot of room to write on anyway? So, well, we're going to make do with it. And A part's got 3 parts to it, so find, this is g at x is given by this integral from 0 to x, f at t dt. Alright, so what we're going to do then is find, and of course this area of this shaded part from -6 to 0 is 12. This is a region R, and it's a shaded region. This is not shaded for whatever reason, but anyway, this is region R, and the area of it is 12. Maybe that's the only reason they shaded this, to say that that's the area. Alright, so let's find values. So what we want to do is we want to find alright, so let's just make this a capital F. We want to find g at -6. Okay, so really all you have to do is you have to just substitute that into this x right here. So what we're saying here is g at -6 is equal to, and I'm going to see if I can put everything up here. We may just have to erase everything, you know. But anyway, g at -6 equals from 0 to -6. And then, of course, if you want to, you say f at t dt. Alright, so f at t dt. Actually, you can figure out the equation of this curve and the equation. You will need to figure out the equation of this line. Well, at least get the slope of it later on. So, you know, it does help to know. I mean, you don't have to know those, and you'll see how fast this is to be done. Now, we go backwards from 0 to -6. This area is 12, positive 12. This integral has these these numbers are not in order. All right, they need to be reversed. So remember, there is a rule that we do the negative, and then we flip-flop, and we put -6 here and 0 here. Now f at t dt. Now we know what this area is from 0 to -6. We know that that area is 12, so that equals the negative. Just bring the negative there, and 12. And that's all you do to that. There's nothing more that you need to do. Just, I want to test your ability to see if you understand that there are some rules with flipping this over like this, and that if you do that, you do introduce a negative sign. So whatever this number is, it's the negative of that. So there's a part. That's the first part. Now what we're going to do next, I think it says find g at 4. Is that what it is? G at 4. Okay, so g at 4. Now again, what we want to do is, we'll erase this. Bear with me just a little bit. I just have limited room, and I wish I had some fancy stuff stuff that would just pop up and make it look really nice, but I don't have any such thing. But I'm making do with what I have, and I'm thankful for this whiteboard, which my wife graciously got for me one time. So anyway, g at 4. Let's look at that. Okay, g at 4. So again, putting 4 in place of x. So 0 to 4, and that's what you got to remember when you do something like this. You still, okay, f at t dt. Okay, all right. So what are we dealing with? We're going from 0 to 4, and that's basically, there's a couple things that you could do with this, and I went the long way around the first time, and I found the equation of this line, and you can figure out what this part of the f at t is. From 0 to 4, you can figure out what the equation of this line is, and you can get the exact same answer. However, when you're taking this test, just keep in mind too that you are having to do everything as fast as possible. Now notice right here, this is a triangle. We know it is bounded by the y-axis, the x-axis. We say x equals 0, y equals 0, and the equation itself. So this is a right triangle, and so the area of this triangle is, all we're doing is we're just saying it's 1/2 the base. The base is 1, 2, 3, 4. So times 4 the base. The height is 2, so times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Half of 8 is 4. If you were to go through this and find the equation of the line, you can go ahead and do this. I can quickly find the equation. We know the answer is 4, and we can actually move on from there. But just to kind of give you a very quick idea of what I did the first time around, I'm going to show you the or part of this you could have done. The equation of this line is actually y is equal to well, y, we can put it down here. I'm sorry. Let's put it down here. We can say y is equal to -1/2 x plus 2. We know that that's -1/2. The slope is, and then up 1 and left 2. So rise over run, and then the y-intercept is 2. So that's it. If you went ahead and did this from 0 to 4, and I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to write the answer. It is 4. Negative 1/2 x plus 2 dx. You would get, from 0 to 4, you would get negative 1/2 x squared over 2. All right, plus, let's see, 2x. And of course, that is from 0 to 4. Now when you plug the 4 in, you get, this is actually negative 1/4, so 4 squared over 4 plus 2 times 4. Is that a plus? Is sort of minus? It should have been a negative. Okay, negative here. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so now this is going to be 16 over 4, which is 4, so negative 4 plus 8, which turns out to be the same thing, 4. Yeah, you can do that. You'd have to come up with that equation of the line, and I noticed that there was a y-intercept and that the slope was negative 1/2, so it was easy to figure that out. So that one was not too bad, and it didn't take up a whole lot of time, but this doing the triangle is so much faster. Okay, bear that in mind. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase this for right now. Okay, and we don't need that anymore. And what we're dealing with now is, I want to say the next one is g at 6, g at 6, I do believe. Okay, yes, g at 6. Alright, so we are looking at g at 6. Now what I want to do here, we already know that this area is 4, so the integral from 0 to 4, f at x, f at t dt, I think that's what it said, f at t dt, is equal to 4. We already know that. So from 4 to 6, make this a triangle, if you will. Okay, so we're looking at the rest of it from 4 to 6. You could do that, f at t dt, and we know that that area is up 1 and left 2. So the base is 1/2. Always put 1/2 on triangles, right? That's 1/2 the base. The base is 2, and then the height is 1, but remember that's negative because we are going down. This is down 1. So down 1, that's going to be negative 1. So, alright, so half of 2 is 1, and 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. But that's not the answer. And you're going from 0 to 6. So really what you got is 4 plus negative 1 equals 3. And there you go. This portion here is negative 1. So 4 plus negative 1 is 3. And remember, anything below the x-axis, you got to take it to be negative. Even though area is considered to be positive, but when it's below this x-axis, we are going to take the negative in this case. And so 4 plus negative 1 is 3. And by the way, it will work if you were to go from 0 to 6 and you did the equation that we had a while ago, negative 1/2 x plus, I forgot what, plus 2, plus 2, like that. And if you did that there, you could get 3 on that one as well. Alright, so either way, you can do that. Okay, that takes care of those types of problems, and that's what you're doing. You're simply substituting in place of the value x there. It just makes it easy. And just understand that when you're having a triangle or dealing with a triangle, you're just dealing with 1/2 the base times the height. They want to test to see if you can remember this part right here, 4, and in this case -1 here. You just have to be aware of that, okay? And this region is already 12, so remember when we went from 0 to -6 and switched it around, it became -12. So they wanted to test your ability to understand, hey, what are the rules of integration? There are certain principles and rules that we need to abide by. Do you still remember them? And so, yes, that's what you do. And just keep in mind, especially those of you who are dealing with this, this is your, your only time that you're doing. You're in the A-B section of this. BC students would know this, but if you're doing AB, just remember when you get and you're dealing with area now, integrating, you are looking for area. Just remember 1/2 the base times the height. 1/2 the base times the height, and this being negative down here, you're going to take the negative answer here. Alright, so 4 plus -1 is 3. So G at -6, we turned out to be -12, I believe it was. G at 4 turned out to be 4, and G at 6 turned out to be 3. Okay, those are the answers to those. Perhaps maybe we have a chance to do C, which I think we might have a little time to do that. Let's go ahead, maybe. I don't know if I want to pursue that or not. I've already done it. So let me look at that. Let's see. I have so many things going at the same time. Yeah, now this one here is the part, okay, yeah, part C right here. Okay. Now, I guess maybe we'll go ahead and do part C at the same time. Maybe. I'm kind of hesitant, to do that, but we may go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and try that. This didn't take an awful lot of time off, so let's go ahead and do that. I wish I looked at my time before we started. Now we have h at x. Now remember this h at x. I think it's h at x. Yeah, let me look at that again. Yeah, h at x is given by, alright, we are going from -6 to x. This time we've got an f prime at t dt. Alright. Now, this is prime, so we're going to look at that in just a moment. So we're going to see what all that is. So now we're going to find, let's find h at 6. Okay, I think it is. I think that's what we're looking for. So h at 6. Okay, so all we're dealing with is we're just substituting 6 in place of this. But I want you to know that this is another fundamental theorem of the calculus, that when you take the antiderivative of the derivative, of the derivative, you just simply get this. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be, I'm just going to put it up here, equal to, right here, f at x minus f at whatever. In this case, it's -6. In place of x, we're going to put 6. So all we got to do now is we just need to find, this is a function of f. All this is a function of f. Both of these sides are, actually all of this is f. So all we're doing is f at -6 is f at 6 is -1. Alright, -1, 6 comma -1, minus sine and then 0.5. At negative 6 is 0.5, and so that's a negative 1.5, or that's equal to a negative 3 halves. Okay, so there you go. There's that one. Okay, so now we're doing C part. Alright, and so that's h at 6. Alright, so negative 1.5. Okay, well, now we're going to do h prime at 6. Okay, so let's look at that. H prime at 6. We know that the h was given here. That turned out to be f at x minus f at negative 6. If we take if it says find this h prime, well, we're going to do, this is h, so this is h prime, so this is just f prime at x. Now remember, this is a number, so the derivative of a constant is 0, so that's just really f prime at x. So we're looking at f prime at 6. All we're dealing with that, what does the prime mean? In this particular case, we're looking at a linear equation, so we're just looking at the slope. So we already found that a while ago. Up 1 and left 2. So left 2. So that's going to be equal to a negative 1/2. Something like that. Okay. Alright. Negative 1/2. All that, remember, all that is just, you just got to remember, you're not, this is a big mistake, and I used to make it, and oh my, this is not, be very, very careful with this. When you look at it in this respect, you see that this is a constant here, but it is not f prime at x minus f prime at negative 6. No, that's not it. You cannot do that. All of this prime this is f prime, and then just minus 0 here. Okay. And that's what you got to remember there. And in this case, we're looking at f prime at 6. So we found the slope, negative 1/2. Alright. So h prime is going to be negative 1/2. Okay, there it is. Alright, well, let's leave this up here, and let's look at one more, since we are moving along fairly quickly. We want to find h double prime. Well, okay. F prime we found to be f prime at 6. Okay, so what this is now is minus, we found this to be 0. This turned out to be negative 1/2, didn't it? So really, when you take the double prime of a constant, that's going to be 0. So then when we do this, alright, so what we have here initially is we're taking the prime of the prime, but f prime, we already found it to be equal to negative 1/2, and when you take the prime of that, that's equal to 0. So, you started out with a line, and then when you take the derivative, the slope of that, you get a number. So then when you take the derivative again, the second derivative, you get 0. So, okay, and that's what it's always going to be here. You remember that the derivative of a constant is 0, and that's all they're saying here. Do you understand that? Okay. And that's basically it right there. Alright, so we found h at 6. We found that while ago to be negative 1.5, which is negative 3/2. Alright, and then h prime at 6. We found the slope of this, rise over run, to be negative 1/2. And then the slope, the derivative of this is 0 of a constant. So that's basically what you're doing. You're taking the derivative. We've already found out what the f prime is. Okay. Now what is f double? What is that double prime? H double prime is f prime prime, which is negative 1/2 prime, which is 0. And so there it is. And you might put down something like the derivative of a constant. The derivative of a constant is 0. Alright, so there you go. That kind of stuff you will see. I'm almost certain you will see it again, probably even this year, somewhere on the test. And I'm almost certain that it's going to show up again. Not 100% sure, but I'm almost 100% sure that you're going to see something like this. And the A part and the C part, and I could do B part, but I'm not going to do it. It is easy, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's the basic ideas, is the A part and the C part of this. Anyway, this is KP the Math G. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. If you want to do if you want to hit that like button, I always smile when I tell this every single time. I always smile when there is a when you hit that like button. I always like that, but it's not about me. As always, it's about you and you learning this. So, I mean, you can make a comment if you like. Please do that. Please do that. I welcome comments. But so anyway, if you hear anything through the door, my wife is watching television on the other side, and so our walls may be a little thin here, but we're happy with where we are. We're blessed to have this house, and we're blessed to have this, and being able to do this video. It means so much to me. It keeps my mind sharp, and so if nothing else, it does keep my mind sharp, and it helps you as well. Anyway, KP the Math G signing off, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have a great day.